У Владимира Анатольевича проблемы с подключением.
Уже есть. Ага. Я выключаю звук же. Рады всех приветствовать на нашем пленарном заседании. Есть там проблемы с подключением первого автора. Евгений Владимирович, если вы не возражаете, если не сможет Широков быстро перед подключиться, пойдете первым. Включи микрофон, Жень.
Включил. Мы в ролик выставляем, потому что у нас у самих какие-то чудеса с подключениями. То есть у меня девочка полчаса ломала систему, пока зафла. Как-то оно хитро все.
Ну, вот что-то сегодня, да. Ну, слава богу, у нас первая часть прошла вся без особых проблем. Да, сейчас мы...
Готов ответить на все вопросы.
Хорошо, хорошо, хорошо.
Ролик будет как бы моя соавторка, наша доцентка.
Вести будет Евгений Валерьевич Куприянов. Он сейчас попытается установить все-таки связь и контакт с Владимиром Анатольевичем, первым докладчиком. Так, Женя, еще надо выяснить, где Thierry Hamon. Знает ли он и на какое время он рассчитывает выйти.
Да, Наташа, ролик вы сами запускаете?
Нет, Жень, ролик мы сами запускаем или нет? Нет, наверное, вы сами запускаете. Эти ролики где-то на YouTube. Вы сами запускаете ролик по возможности, да?
Сейчас мы его ищем лихорадочно.
Ну хорошо, давайте не беспокоиться и не суетиться. Что получится, то и получится.
Ну,
Евгений Валерьевич,
в 11,
а у нас
да, начнем.
Что в 11? У Владимира Анатольевича в 11?
Ну да.
Ну, у нас тут... Ну, хорошо, да, ладно, хорошо. В 11 так в 11. Сейчас ожидаем, сейчас подключаются все, пока у нас запись не ведется. Так что, Владимир Анатольевич откликнулся, он в 11...
Dear guests, welcome to our first plenary session. And I invite Professor Thierry Hamon with the report analysis of user exchanges on health online for user profile detection.
Hello. It's my presentation now?
So we can't, so please share your screen.
Okay. Did you see it?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
we can see it.
Okay, so thank you very much for inviting me to present my work on the analysis of user exchange on health online fora. I will focus here on the detection of user profile. It's a joint work with several researchers from different labs, from computer science lab and also from health and pedagogy or pedagogy for the health and public health. So it's funded by the Institute of Research in Public Health, and we also collaborate with the online fora named Femme Diabetic, or in English, Diabetic Woman. We work on online health online discussion fora because it's a important place for patients suffering from a chronic health disease, a chronic disease like diabetes mellitus. And it is a very useful information for the patient, for the relative to get some to share information on the disease, and also for the public health researcher. It's important to access to information to improve the program of therapeutic education. So we analyze exchange regarding different information in order to build some cohort of patients and then to interview the patient. So we, to analyze the exchange, we want to first identify some patient profile. So the demographic information, like the gender, the age range, the disease and the comorbidities, and also the relation between the patient, which suffer of diabetes mellitus, and the author of the message. However, this information is barely available, and it's seldom explicitly indicated in the fora. So our approach was to use text mining to identify this information on the message which have been sent to the online fora. So this kind of work is usually done on medical text, especially for disease recognition. There are many works on identify disease in clinical text, but few on the online discussion fora. Also, there are work on identification of demographic category on social networks, especially some machine learning approach have been developed for the gender identification with a precision which vary between 56 and 87%. And also there are work on the age range detection based on also supervised method with a precision between 60 and 80%. And this kind of approach is seldom used on discussion fora. It's more applied on social network like Twitter, for instance. And also we didn't find works on the detection of patient authorization in social networks. So we work on 2 French online discussion forums. So my examples would be in French, but I provide the translation in English. And we want to work on fora where there is no caregivers involvement. The idea was to identify in which extent the patient or the relative of patient share information between them, and to identify without caregivers intervention how they share the information. So the fora can provide partly some information, demographic information, especially age range, And we perform an analysis of this information, and we also perform a manual annotation of one of the two fora. So this fora, lead diabetic, the diabetics patient, and you have the information about the size of the fora and the number of users and so on. And for the manual annotation, we annotate gender and age rank by 2 annotators, and there is a consensus after. And also the disease and the patient observation has been annotated by 1 person. So we can observe that only that the demographic information is sparse and incomplete in the fora. So only 16% of the contributors or provide this information explicitly in their profile. And also there is a balance information between male and female in the fora, on the first fora, lead diabetic, and a very imbalanced information on the second fora. It's normal. It was expected because femme diabetic is more dedicated to women which suffer of diabetes mellitus. So there are a lot of women in this fora. We also observe that age rank is only explicitly available on the femme diabetic fora, and it's mainly adult contributors. We also observe that signature can provide some useful information. So, for instance, you can find that some user is a mom, a mother, or a father. You can get the age of the contributor, sometimes a signature, or some information about the disease and what kind of treatment they have. But it's only on the signature. It's only available on the first fora, the diabetic, and this signature it can be updated after the message have been posted. Regarding the annotation of the gender and the age rank, there is a strong agreement between for the gender with 0.67 and a moderate agreement between the two annotators for the age rank. In fact, the gender can be difficult to identify because the text size and also some over-interpretation of some clues when you read the message. And we identify that there is some obvious, useful clues like the first name, but also the beginning of the first message can be useful also, since the author presents themselves and give some information about the age, the disease, and so on. And also, what we find that useful information is the ending of adjective. So it's a specific phenomena, certainly in French, since there are some adjectives with audible feminine inflected form. So, for instance, ready. So prêt in French will be the masculine, and the feminine will be prête. So even if you misspell some words, we can expect that you don't misspell prête, ready, when you are a woman. And this, the other adjective like diabetic or terrified have the same sound in feminine or in masculine. So you can misspell it if you are a woman and you don't have a good orthograph, for instance. So we will use this kind of clues to identify the gender. And also for the edge round, it was quite complex because even if the information is in the first message or in the signature, it's often it is often required to compute the absolute date. Like for instance, I'm diabetic since I'm 16 year old. That is for 3 years and a half. So we have to infer that the user is 19 and a half year old. It's quite difficult with the machine learning system. To apply text mining on this kind of data and to predict or to identify the gender, the age, the disease, and the relation between patient and the author, we use resources. So a list of first name issue from Wikipedia, and we have the corresponding gender for this kind of, for this first name. Some first name can be ambiguous, like for instance, Dominique or Camille. They are both feminine and masculine, and we explicitly mark them as such. And we also use adjective with audible feminine inflected form by computing a list from phonological representation adjectives that we already have. And we also use idle time to identify dates, year, and duration. So we applied supervised classification approach with different kind of decision tree algorithm, Bayesnet, SVM. The unit for classification was the forum author with all the message, and we use different kind of descriptor based on the resource and information available. So we use the first name, the adjective with audible feminine inflection for the gender, the signature. We also use for the edge rank, the first name, the first and last 3 occurrence of year in the message. For the patient-writer relation, we use also the first name, some processing of the pseudo, the message, the subject, and so on. And also for the disease, we use the same descriptor as for the patient-writer relation. We have to classify the information according to different categories. So two categories for the gender, 7 for the age ranked, 6 for the patient-writer category, and 12 for the pathology, for the disease. So it's usually diabetes types and frequent comorbidity. We perform 2 kind of experiment. We train models on a forum, on each forum, and evaluate with a 10-fold cross-validation on the same forum. And also we train a model on the first Fora dataset, so Le Diabetic, because there is a more exhaustive reference data, and we evaluate the model on the second Fora. The idea is to evaluate the reliability of the model and the descriptors from one forum to another. We use micro and macro precision for the evaluation, and the manual annotation which have on the 2 fora, on the first fora, and the information which are provided by the user on the second fora. So in the second fora, we have a partial indication of the or partial reference. In fact, you have here the information of the number of annotation or information associated to the contributors for each type of information we look for. So you have here the result for the first fora, and then for the second fora with the macro and the micro and macro precision. There are, so I just give some information of, according to the different kind of models. Some models over-generate the majority category, like for instance, here the decision tree provide only one category, which is the user is the patient. Or for instance, also here the patient, the user is an adult, or here the disease is a first type of diabetes. Some other algorithm provide more category, like multi-boost or naive Bayes, but the results are worst. We also observe that gender is useful for, gender can be identified better with adjectives with audible feminine inflected forms. That's a good point, because that's we observe manually when we check the forum. And also performance are similar compared to previous results in already published work. And disease is a more difficult task to, more difficult information to identify, especially because there are 12 categories and not a lot of information. Regarding the second experience, we can observe the data that the results are mixed because they are worse in the gender and the disease recognition, but their results are improved for the age range. And also the decision tree algorithm try to over-generate the results with providing one category for the age range, for instance.
Пане Роман, це Наталія Анівна. Ну, дивіться, там в українському варіанті немає отої частинки на основі досліджень, а вона чогось була в англійському варіанті. Хай він же собі думає, лишати чи ні.
Олена Петрівна,
я не розумію.
Наталія Іванівна, це Наталія Іванівна.
Ну, той
Наталія Іванівна,
якого нема в українському варіанті.
Яка Наталія Іванівна? Попросіть.
Dear guests, please switch off microphones while the reporter is presenting his report. So,
sorry, my microphone was.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I just finished. So, sorry. So to identify the to conclude, to identify the demographic information and the disease on health fora, we use machine learning supervised approach based on linguistic sources and text analysis. We observe that gender and age range are easier to recognize than patient, author, relation, and disease, which is what we expect, in fact. But this information has been useful to select a cohort of forum user and to perform some to contact some users and to perform a physical interview with the author, with the users to observe how users can share some information and how they manage to manage their disease and get some information on forum. So as future work, we can improve the models, especially for the patient-author relations and the disease recognition. And also, we would like to go further on the reuse of language model from one forum to another. And then we want to go further on text mining approach for online fora to predict information for the analysis of the behavior of the contributor in the context of therapeutic education, and to observe the skills they share, the skills they learn on they acquire on the fora. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your interesting report. Dear guests, if we are interrupted, please use the same link in the program. Don't be confused that it is entitled Section 4. So for plenary session and Section 4, the same link is used. While we have 8 minutes, we have an opportunity of asking questions to the reporter.
Please, if you have some questions, please give our author.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hello, Terry. I was wondering, did you try to use some kind of neural networks or transformers to annotate the data, if you have any already annotation?
Not yet. In fact, we did this. We started this work several years ago. So the neural network was not very trendy at this time. But we could do it. The main problem in that case is that that I didn't say that, but the language is not. We could use BERT, for instance. And it's in French, but we didn't before. I think 2 years ago we didn't have French BERT. Now we have two French BERT. The main problem is that it's not like in any social network. In fact, it's not a good language. So in that case, you can have some problem to identify the good vector regarding to words, and that can make some result difficult to good result to obtain. Okay.
I see. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes, have you any questions yet? No, we have no questions. And now, Євгеній Валерійович, скажіть, будь ласка, що в нас залишилося 5 хвилин. Ми зараз мали би чи обговорити цю попередню доповідь, чи може спробувати підключити іншу. Але я вважаю, що треба перепідключитися. І в нас на зв'язку Володимир Анатолійович, якого ми так чекали з нетерпінням. І ми почнемо наступну сесію цього ж пленарного засідання з його доповіді. Але ми повинні будемо через 5 хвилин, за 5 хвилин перепідключитися. Так? Я вважаю, що це дуже так буде А потім наступна доповідь після Володимира Анатолійовича, це вже є, підготувався Євген Бодянський. Так?
Так.
Угу. Так.
Ну, мабуть, не так, я на зв'язку, але ролик, там моя колега зачитає доповідь.
Так, і Євген Валерійович вже цей ролик витягнув з Ютуба.
А на ці питання я і відповім, коли буде потрібно.
Так, і якщо будуть питання. Якщо нема питань більше до Thierry Hamona, Thierry Hamona, так треба казати на французькою мовою, то ми зараз маємо ще 4 хвилини. Може, є якісь запитання до організаторів. Ми підключаємося за цим же посиланням. Це посилання на пленарне засідання та також на 4-ту секцію. Воно одне й те ж. Це посилання на Євгена Купріянова. І трошки почекайте, там не зовсім одразу там впускає організатор. Це такі технічні, дуже, ми не можемо на це ніяк. Так же?
Yes, well, dear guests, we propose to restart this session using the same link indicated in your program for this plenary session. So I'll cut off this session and start it again. So
it's clear?
Clear?
I hope clear, yeah? We have now 32 and now 47 participants.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that all of them will take part in the next session. The same link. Yeah.
So I'm switching off